Wolfie, they changed the hog.
The hog. They did indeed change him, sort of.
What have they done to him?
They shifted some things around.
What are we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about Roadhog from Overwatch.
Of course, the hog. The hog himself.
He's been due for a rework since the beginning of time, but
Lies.
he finally got one with Overwatch 2.
He was perfect.
Nah.
They ruined him.
He is slightly better. He's not that much different. For a rework, there was not much reworked.
I know. They still kept the hook.
Yeah, it did. And the hook was honestly the problem, but it's so part of his character.
I like that when I first pointed out, you thought they got rid of the hook.
Because they were talking about it. I'm looking at all the previews. I'm like, I guess they got rid of it.
They're like, this is the problem. This is what needs to change about him. Yeah, we didn't change anything about that.
Not at all. Not at all.
What did they end up changing?
Instead, he gets something called a pig trap.
Right.
It's like Junkrat's trap. You throw it on the ground, but instead of like trapping you in place, it gives a ground effect similar to Maga's and Ramatra's slowdown thingies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard crowd control, but it slows you and does a little bit of damage. Tickles your feet.
Tickles your hooves, like the pig.
Your hooves. Yeah.
For the pig trap.
I mean, I guess it's all right. Now the play is to throw down the trap and then hook someone into it and shoot them and they're dead.
That makes sense.
Or even better.
Fair and balanced.
You throw down the pig trap, then you throw a Junkrat trap on top of it. And you hook them into that. Insta-dead.
Double trap them. I just like the clip of the map where it has a hole in the center and people just hook them into it.
Oh.
They just hook them into the hole. It's so funny. It never gets old, too.
Truly an oversight.
I know, right? Truly the best design thing.
The map where you play one character and instantly win.
I like that it was on the same person every time, too. They did not adjust their playstyle. It was against another Roadhog, too. Is the worst.
Yeah, they're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
the better hog.
Yeah, exactly. Except they're so much worse at it. Welcome, everybody, to episode 99 of You're Ridiculous.
Whoa!
Wolf, we're almost 100 years old.
We are. Look
almost
at us.
We're
We're
century.
old. We're decrepit.
All the things we have planned for episode 100.
That's right. I know, right? You guys are going to be lit. You'll never see it coming.
You're not even going to be ready for our special guest, who's not so special.
You couldn't even interrogate it out of us.
That's right. Last week, we talked about the Game Award nominees and who we think are going to win.
Indeed, we did.
Overall winner is either going to be the Legend of Zelda or Baldur's Gate.
Or maybe Alan Wake will come through and steal
Alan Wake is not winning. Fuck off.
Listen, the fact that he was even brought up as having the potential of being stolen makes me feel like we're pulling another Last of Us 2. That game, the fans most definitely hated, yet won like 8 awards.
Yeah, that was some bullshit, because that game was not it. This week, though, we're talking about Netflix's new anime, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
Yeah!
Anime indeed.
And yes, it is indeed an anime.
We'll get to that. I'll break this down a little bit and then throw it over to Wolf. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is not an adaptation and not a retelling of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is the movie based on the comic books.
Yeah.
It is neither one of those. It's sort of its own story that takes a lot of elements from both and sort of twists it into its own new story. It has all the same characters, and they're all reprising their roles as voice actors from the movie. So Michael Cera is back as Scott Pilgrim, Brie Larson is back as Envy Adams, Chris Evans, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, blah, blah, blah. All the great people. The cast
nice.
Back from 2010, when the movie came out, was good, but now when you look at it, it's crazy because, like, their careers have, like, exploded.
They're huge now. Did you see how they ended up even, like, getting together to make this happen?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, I saw it on Twitter. Michael Cera, Scott, he accidentally responded to an email that was, like, 9 years old or something, just, I guess, talking about this exact concept. It got lost in the wind, and he just brought it back, and everyone was like, what are you doing responding to this 9-year-old email, Michael Cera? And then they all started talking again and hanging out.
That's really funny because that's such a Michael Cera and Scott Pilgrim thing to do. It's in character both for himself and for his actual character.
He was made to play that character.
That's great. I didn't hear about that. That's really cool. I'm glad they did, because it actually ended up being pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess I think I said everything I wanted to break it down. But yeah, it's just a bit of a rework. It's sort of its own story set up, potentially for a season 2, though who knows, we'll see.
No season 2.
What?
No season 2.
No season 2? Okay.
Another thing they confirmed on Twitter.
Oh, good. I didn't know about that, but good. I don't think it really needs one.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't finish it, but not everything needs to keep going.
Right. I thought this wrapped up nicely. And with that, did you want to talk about all the stuff you have?
I sure did indeed. I did not get to finish watching it. I watched up to episode 3.
Yeah.
But I got to see all kinds of the drama unfold on Twitter and YouTube and everywhere else. But not TikTok. I've been using TikTok lately. But I'm sure it would have been made me just as rabid.
If not more so.
Exactly.
As
The
TikTok
debate.
does. Yeah.
The debate, quote unquote, of whether or not Scott Pilgrim is an anime.
Classic.
Of all the things to debate whether or not it's anime, this has to be the most ridiculous. It is by every definition of the word anime. It's animated by Science Saru, the production studio.
Yeah.
Love them, by the way. They made Keep Your Hands Off of Eizouken and a couple other shows like this. This was like a match made in heaven. This is the style. That's like their style.
Yeah, perfect. Which is also funny because the style that this is animated in is the style of the comic books.
Yeah.
So it just worked out that
out.
both the studio and the original style are match made in heaven. Like you said, they're perfect for each other.
They coalesced.
Yeah, they didn't have to change. Neither the studio nor the original source material had to change at all. So it was perfect.
Yeah. And so that's Japanese production studio. But you could argue it was made in tandem with Netflix. It's not technically anime, but because it was storyboarded by Americans and only outsourced the animation to a Japanese studio. That's not true either. It was storyboarded and directed in Japan. in fact, even the voice acting was made for the Japanese dub. They did it as they do in Japan. They did their They do their dubbing, not their dubbing because it's not a dub, but their voice recordings while they're looking at the animation or the boards,
right? And
then the animation will often follow what the voice actors said and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it just matches better by default.
Right.
So then it's even more anime in that sense. And then the original cast, they just they did their thing and they did it well. They're the original cast.
Yeah, they're all great. They were perfect. One thing I really enjoyed about this particular adaptation was how they expanded on the characters a lot more.
Ooh.
In the movie at least, and in the comics as well. Most of the time when Scott defeats an ex, they're sort of gone from the movie for the most part.
Right. Turn to coin
or other nefarious things. Sometimes just gone from existence. But this time, it's sort of different. Scott isn't, for the most of the show, even really in it.
Yeah.
So they expanded on all the characters, including the exes and Wallace Wells and even, Knives, his high school girlfriend. I particularly enjoyed Wallace Wells' expansion because he's really funny in the movie. He's played by Kieran Culkin. Yeah. And he's got so many good, fast one-lining quips. But he never is I don't want to say he's not a main character because he's Scott's roommate and he is, but he doesn't have full body lines for the most part. He's a great supporting character, but in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, he's his own actual character with a lot of lines and a lot of story and really is a full character, fully developed.
Doing his things, his stuff and things.
And it's great. And all the characters like that. So if you liked any of the characters that weren't Ramona or Scott, basically, then you should be able to enjoy this because a lot of them get, more developed.
Indeed. Can you believe people complained this one was not a one-to-one adaptation of the movie?
I can believe that because people will complain about everything. Also, why would you want that?
We have
the movie. Why do we need the cartoon version, or not the cartoon? But why do we need the anime version?
literally the exact argument I make against all these stupid live action animes, but just in reverse.
Right.
Why are you making the exact same thing just in a different medium?
Yeah, that's what adapting is for. If you're gonna make it one version from the other version that it isn't, make it different. I don't need two versions of the same shit.
We don't need a remaster.
Right, and even if you tweaked it slightly, yeah, we have enough of those video game remasters. We don't need show remasters. Yeah, so I can definitely see that people complain just because I think now the Scott Pilgrim movie is way more popular than it was when it came out.
Probably.
Partially because probably people like the cast more than they did, or at least they know who the cast is now versus back then. Not to say this movie pushed these actors to the front of their career or anything, but it was a start.
Yeah. Solid start.
Yeah, and it's not even Chris Evans is in it. He fucking played Captain America.
Yeah, he's a Marvel schmuck now.
Right, and Brie Larson, she's also in the Marvel movies. Allegedly.
Sold their souls.
Anna Kendrick and Aubrey Plaza is in this. The cast is kind of crazy, so.
True. Oh, man. So, any highlights from the show you want to share?
Well, one thing that I was going to say for later, but I think now is a good time to bring it up. Because I think it'll lead into your talking point, is that the show actually addresses Scott Pilgrim dating a 17-year-old. It makes a comment about it at the very end when Scott comes back after being, trapped wherever he was. I'm not going to fully spoil it for everybody, but he was gone for most of the show, like I said. Comes back, and then Knives throughout the whole show develops her own character and learns that she's an amazing musician and a character. Ooh. Or is a character beyond just Scott's girlfriend.
Yeah, Scott's high school girlfriend.
Right, exactly. Scott's underage high school girlfriend from Catholic school. Anyways, so she thanks him, not only that thank you for actually talking about it and breaking up with me, since you're obviously going out with Ramona, but also thank you for making me the sort of person that I am. And Scott makes a comment oh, you're welcome. I don't think it's society. He's I don't think society is accepting of me dating a high schooler anyways. I don't think that's socially acceptable. and then he just awkwardly walks by. It was really funny.
That's the end of the conversation.
It was pretty much it. She laughs it off or whatever. But yeah, it was really funny because that's the big thing, a big, albeit fair critique about it is that.
Yeah.
And you can't even, at first I thought you could, maybe make the argument that Scott was underage when they started dating. Because in eyes of the law, that's fine. But he's fucking 23.
Oh yeah, way out of range.
And in that case, she would have been 12, which is also not acceptable. So he's obviously just dating an underage, high schooler as an adult.
Yeah.
But at least now,
just his funny little quirk.
Yeah,
they're hardly dating.
Yeah, the dating is she's more obsessed with him and his band.
They held hands.
Well, I started rewatching the movie because Netflix just put it on
I did see that.
Yeah, to coincide with the release of this show, and they actually didn't even hold hands. It said we held hands once, but then Knive got embarrassed. And then in a couple scenes later, Knives does kiss him, but very, very briefly.
Yeah, a little peck.
Yeah, it was literally, she ran up and kissed him and that was it.
Puppy love.
And then they basically start, he starts jonesing after Ramona.
Yeah, the girl in his dreams.
That's right. Have you seen much stuff on Twitter about that sort of dynamic of Scott dating a 17-year-old?
I've seen I've seen two people taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
I think someone was they were all caps. They were was no one gonna tell me that Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler? I'm what?
I should have sent it to you. I saw a post, if I find it again, I'm gonna send it to you. A reasonably long post about explaining how Scott Pilgrim is a groomer.
What?
And that he was grooming Knives Chow.
Grooming Knives Chow. They barely spoke. They held hands, but
They
not
barely
really.
they hung out after school. They went
saw
to
his
the
band.
library together. They sometimes held hands.
Yeah, groomed that bitch, definitely.
It was really funny. I'll try and find it. It was on Twitter. It was on X.
Oh, not to mention all the don't call it. Not to mention all the mornings be like, don't idolize Scott Pilgrim. Reminder that he dated a high schooler. You're not supposed to look up to him. Like, gee, thanks. Thank you for reminding me not to that I don't want to emulate Toronto's Biggest Loser.
I was gonna say who's revering Scott Pilgrim?
Right.
Like he went after, he finally got his shit together, and decided to go after the girl of his dreams, and then then he got his life together. But up until then, he's a fucking bum.
Truly.
He did fuck all. In fact, there's a whole scene about how he lives in his roommate's place rent free and doesn't own jack shit.
Yeah, his own coat, the clothes on his back.
Yeah, that scene. So you saw that scene in the anime, right?
Yeah.
I forgot that scene is a direct adaptation from the movie.
Oh, really?
That whole
That's
thing,
funny.
which is funny. Obviously, they're gonna do some stuff like that. I didn't realize how similar that whole scene was. I'm like, oh, this is funny. When I was watching Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. And then I just see it again in the movie. I'm like, oh my god.
That's why.
Yeah, that's great. No wonder it's funny.
Oh, what a show. Can't wait to watch more of it. I love the art style. I love the way it's animated. I love how off the wall the world is, like, magic wise. Like
Yeah.
anything goes. I'm watching it. I've never seen the movie. I never read the comic. And he punched Scott and turned him into coins. I'm just like, all right, he's coins. Let's go.
You just send me a message like, why is he coins?
Like, does it get explained?
Yeah, I was like, just basically explaining that it's basically a video game world in the real world.
I see, yeah.
Like, everybody sort of has, not everybody, but, they have that main character, I'm him vibe.
Yeah.
And so then they can, like, sort of activate their own powers. Like, in the actual movie, Scott randomly just gets powers when he's fighting people. And music also empowers them. A lot of sort of sound effects are, as in the cartoon, when the sound effect, like a ding dong, it'll show up.
Yeah.
But it'll show up on the words on ding dong. But it does that in the real world too. And like when someone's strumming a guitar, it'll show like the note that he's strumming. So
It'd be
on and
so
so
distracting to live with.
But nobody addresses it though.
Yeah,
It's just existing. That's how it is.
Gotcha.
It's just kind of there. And then like Ramona, even in the actual movie, Ramona, the reason she's in Scott's dreams is because she says to him in the movie that he has a superhighway that she accesses when he sleeps.
I did see that. I saw an analysis post on that on Tumblr after I asked about the coins.
On Tumblr.
I was like, yeah, this is it. She skates through his dreams.
Yeah.
Literally.
Which is really funny. And that's like just a thing that happens,
And the
like,
fight between what's
Matthew
his name?
Patel.
Yeah, Matthew Patel and the leader of the X's. That was greatly animated.
Oh yeah, Gideon Great. That was really good. It also is almost the beginning of where the show starts to take a different course, because
I see.
Scott wins the fight against Matthew Patel, and then Gideon Graves is the final boss.
Right.
He's the final evil X. And so they completely did a 180 where Scott loses the fight, gets fucked off into oblivion, and then Matthew's like, I'm the leader now, Gideon.
Yeah. The plan fell apart when he didn't lose.
Right. It was really funny later on. Ramona says to Matthew that like Scott's alive, and he's like, I built my newfound confidence on the idea that I killed Scott Pilgrim, right? And now you're telling me that he's alive. I defeated Gideon Graves because I thought I killed Scott Pilgrim with one punch.
Listen, the power of confidence will get you far.
That's right.
Confidence and a yellow reflector vest.
Truly all you need. Also, I've already said it, but another thing that I really enjoyed, and that I think you really enjoy when you watch more of it, is just how like open everybody is about like their own sexuality and everything.
Yeah.
But not in like a in your face kind of way. Like Kieran Culkin, the character who plays, the actor who plays Wallace Wells, the character.
Yeah.
Continuously has a fling in one of the episodes with Lucas Lee, who's another one of the evil exes. But originally in the comics and the movie, Lucas Lee is not gay or bisexual. He's just a straight guy.
Yeah.
But in this one, Lucas Lee ends up falling madly in love with Wallace Wells. And then Wallace is like, yeah, I'm over it. Time to move on. And breaks Lucas Lee's heart.
Oh, he's going to have 7 evil exes on his hands soon.
It was so funny. It was great. And so, yeah, there's just little things like that. How, in this day and age is appreciated to see. But true. Back in 2010, they already had like openly gay characters and stuff. So
the blonde one that looks like the blonde ex, the girl ex. She was the bi-furious one. Yeah, bi-furious, and so they did have a female evil ex, which was really cool. Brought her back. They set the pave. They paved the way.
Paved the way, indeed. Roxy, the sort of ninja character.
Yeah.
A lot of cool people. A lot of diverse people as well. She also dated twins.
Wow. No, it's always the twins.
I know. They ended
people in their twin obsession.
Well, she dated him to get back at them.
Fair.
They were like manipulating her, and then she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna date both of you and then break both your hearts.
The Uno reverse.
That's right. She played the Uno reverse card on him. And then lastly, one really cool thing was just, you sort of mentioned it, but how not only the fight with Matthew Patel, but Matthew Patel and Gideon Graves, but all the fights are just like really fun and well animated.
Yeah.
Especially the final scene where you fight the person who sort of started all this from the beginning.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so all of it just ends up being really cool. The last one actually reminded me of a fight like fucking Dragon Ball.
Wow.
They power up like 2 or 3 different times.
Love to see it.
It's really good.
On it.
Yeah. The one thing that I don't really understand, and it's not from the movie, but I think it is from the comics, but I also don't think they ever explained it in there, is that Ramona's backpack is like, has infinite space.
It's the Doctor Who thing.
Yeah, it's bigger on the inside.
Timey-wimey.
Right. It's so big that she fit Scott Pilgrim inside it. And Lucas Lee, who in the show you'll see is like 3 times the size of any other person. He's like amazing. Massive. And she's just like tucked him inside. And there's a scene where she opens it up slightly. You just see his eyes poking out.
What do you think it's like in there?
It's spacious. You got like a whole pool table and like some vending machines. It's like one of those like jazz lounges. Where they're just like playing, like a live band is playing, and you got like a foosball table and pool.
Foosball in the jazz?
Well, sure, why not?
I don't think you've ever been to a jazz spot.
I have, of course. Can't you tell?
I bet you clap instead of snapping.
I've watched the Goofy movie. I know how to behave. They snap. I know what I'm about. Oh man, yeah. So you only watched 3 episodes, but how would you rate it so far?
Honestly, like a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I love the style. I love the vibes and aesthetics, the art direction. I love the music. Yep,
I'd say 9 out of 10 as well. I'm sort of tempted to go 8.5 because they included time travel, which I fucking can't stand. But
the sin.
The rest, the cardinal sin. But the rest of it was so good that I'm compelled to give him a good rating.
Overlook it just for that.
An accurate rating.
Didn't you overlook time travel for some other show we just did a podcast on? You gave it like a 10 out of 10?
Summertime Rendering.
Oh, yeah.
Because that had legitimacy within their time travel.
Fair, yeah.
Theirs wasn't even time travel, it was time rewind.
Fair. They did time travel the only legit way that no one does anymore because Homestuck did it. So now it's like cringe adjacent, taboo, but it's the way.
It's the way that makes sense. and you never run into actual problems. Anyways, this dealt the last 2 episodes really like fucking fondled time travel a lot.
Fondled it.
But I can look past it because how good the rest of it is.
I see.
Lastly, before we move on, I was quite upset that Envy Adams is less of a character in this one than she is in the movie.
Oh, right, really?
Which is played by Brie Larson. Envy Adams is Scott's ex-girlfriend. She's dating Todd Ingram, who is one of Ramona's ex-boyfriends. He's one of the evil exes.
Okay.
And so there's a bit of a dynamic sort of square love thing going on. I can't say love triangle, but love square.
Yeah.
And so she's like an actual legitimate character in the movie, but this one she shows up just like sparingly. And I don't know why.
It's because Brie Larson and Chris Evans don't really like each other currently.
Oh, really? Is that a thing? Is there drama there?
There is.
Is it anything in particular, or do they just not like each other?
I guess they just don't vibe with each other.
That's fair. I think a lot of people don't vibe with Brie Larson.
She made the choice to lean hard into the fuck men feminism type thing, and you know it's gonna burn bridges.
Right? Yeah. Listen, I'm all for
And they picked a favorite for this show. They favorited Chris.
And holy shit, did they? They exploded his character. In like, they gave him so many extra scenes. It was so above what the actual character deserved.
Funny.
But it ended up being really good. It was good. And most of the characters have a nice happy ending.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also saw on a Tumblr post that this version of like Scott Pilgrim, this is like the good ending.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Well, yeah, because we actually see one of the bad endings, sort of, or what could happen with the time travel thing.
Oh, looking forward to it.
I say what could happen. It's what does happen, but since they went back in time, that no longer happens.
Oh, I see.
It's one of those bullshit things. That's why it doesn't work. Anyways, it all ends up happily, and for every character, basically.
Nice.
So, 9 out of 10. Go check it out if you haven't. It's really fun. It's really easy to watch, and you can also just put it on in the background, and you don't have to pay like a super amount of attention to. Although I will say that there's a lot of stuff that shows on screen, especially when we meet new characters. It gives them like title information.
Yeah. Suicide Squad style.
Exactly. Although they did it first.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim did it first. But yeah, it's exactly like Suicide Squad. And so those are fun to read, but you know, it's mostly superfluous information. It's just for fun.
The fact that they're there also makes that tweet even more shocking. Like, what do you mean? It's on her card that she's a high schooler.
Yeah.
Scott's high school girlfriend.
Yeah. And
knives.
In so many of them, in this one and in the movie and in the comics, everybody else is like ripping on Scott. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Nobody outright says like this is you're dating underage, but they all say it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like, it's nice to be wanted. I'm like, yeah, get someone your own age, you freak.
Yeah, they harp on it like they don't. It's always your high school girlfriend, not just your girlfriend.
Yeah. Wallace Wells does that a lot. It's so funny. Yeah, check it out. It's really fun. We like it a lot. But moving on from that, Wolf, we have a question of the week from Rain.
We sure do. This week's question of the week is: what element from Adventure Time would you be, and what creature would you manifest as? So in Adventure Time, there's 4 elements: candy, slime, fire, and ice. And don't shake your head.
Okay. I admittedly have really never watched Adventure Time.
And all things, all life in this world comes from one of those 4 things, or some combination of the 2, or distantly related. And there's technically like a 5th anti-element called Lumps, which is what Lumpy Space Princess is. She's the checks and balances of the universe for these 4.
Of course. What are they? Fire, ice, candy, and what?
Slime.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
And since all things branch from those 4 5-ish elements. You have to, what the creature you manifest as has to be like made of that thing tangentially.
Okay.
For example, humans, you can't be a human, by the way. Humans are water elementals because they're mostly made of water.
Okay. So what would you be? I
would definitely be a candy person, but like a messed up candy person. I'd be like on Princess Bubblegum's level of candy person. I'm a candy person without the sweetness.
Okay.
Really real, not quite full lemon grab-esque, and you're not gonna know what any of these words
I don't know
means,
what any
the
of
watchers
the
will know. The watchers will know.
They will. I'm sure they'll love this. They'll love my confusion.
Not quite fully lemon grab-esque, but some happy in between Princess Bubblegum and Lemon Grab.
Lemon Grab.
Yeah, he's a candy person, but with zero sweetness. So he's something.
He's sour.
He's something. Yeah, he's sour.
Gotcha. I think I've actually seen that character.
He's very memeable. He's the unacceptable.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, surely I'd be something made of ice, because I like the cold. I thrive in it. And I think I would be some sort of animal.
Animal.
Yeah.
You could be
I think
there's
so.
like ice. There's ice animals.
I think I'd be a little penguin. But
they're all just plain penguins.
No, well, I'd be a talking penguin, obviously.
Okay, fair.
And I think I would have a little ice bow tie.
Oh, I love that.
And so I'd just be like a well-dressed ice penguin that also talks.
Oh.
I'd be like...
You'd fit right in.
You know how, like, Jake is a talking dog?
Yep.
Well, I'd be like... And Finn is, like, the main character.
Yeah.
There's also, like, the female Finn, right?
Technically, yes.
Right. And what's their name?
Fiona.
Right, Fiona. Okay, now there's, like, you're the third character, but I'm, like, your animal companion.
Ah, okay.
Right, so it's, like, Finn the dog and Jake the human.
Yeah.
And then, like, Wolf the candy person and Luke the ice penguin.
Yeah, you know, that's fully canon because there's a bunch of universes, and every universe has a Finn and a Jake.
Exactly, and that's
just
us.
Like every universe has a Rick and a Morty, but they're not less strict.
Apparently, in Obama too.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I want to know why you wrote it down.
For audience sake, just so everybody is on the same page, I frequently have a tab I have a tab on my phone that I frequently write down openers for our show. And one of them, all it says is, Wolf is Obama and I'm Rick from Rick and Morty. And I'm like, Wolf, what the fuck does this mean? I have no clue what this means. And Wolf figured it out. Wolf cracked the code.
I thought on it for a hot second. I was like, it's also clear.
Yeah, and so, yeah.
But it's not a question or
it's
a
not
topic.
a question. It's nothing. I don't know what it is. It's nothing. It's a statement.
we role play as those two. That's a special episode.
That's right.
Better get your Rick voice practice.
Oh boy, didn't they just replace him with the new one?
They did.
How did they don't sound very good, do they?
I can't really hear the difference. I hear the difference in like it's more delivery because what's his face? Justin Roiland. A part of what Rick is ingrained in Rick is the improv, but they dropped the improv because it's a new guy. It's not his character.
Right. Yeah.
And so you can kind of hear that, but the voice itself is there.
Yeah. I thought when I heard the clips of it, Rick sounded like totally fine, barring the improv part. I thought Morty sounded a little off in what I heard. I don't know if, it could have just been a couple of those clips.
Oh, right, because he does Rick and Morty, doesn't he?
Right, yeah, he does both. Well, he does, yeah. I think a couple other characters, did do a couple other characters as well. Sort of like a Seth MacFarlane where he plays like 20 of the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't, also, people are going to watch it anyways. Don't pretend like you were rooting for Justin.
Right.
You're going to watch it. Don't be a bitch.
Listen, I forgot it was even out. I gotta catch up. I saw a clip on Twitter and It was really funny. It was.
I bet. It's a funny show.
It's funny in a really stupid way.
It's funny. It's stupid. Don't take it too seriously. Watch it even though they replaced the voice actors. Who cares?
Yeah. Watch it because they replaced the voice actor.
Finally, yeah, he was a shitter.
They took a stand.
That's
Ballsiness.
Right. Kicked him out of his own show.
Fucking Ren and Stimpy couldn't even handle doing that with the guy. I forget his name, but he put himself as the animator, but he wasn't the animator. I was like, he groomed multiple teenage girls.
Yeah, and they got rid of him for it.
They didn't, though. That was the worst part.
Oh, they didn't? Oh.
They didn't. They even brought the show back, and he was a part of it.
Tragic.
Coward behavior.
Indeed. Who would Rain be in this, what's it called?
Oh, in the question.
I kept thinking of Rick and Morty. That's all I could think of. In the, what element would they be?
Let's see. Rain.
Well, surely water.
Well, it'd have to be ice.
What? Oh.
Because it's not, because water is just a branch off from ice.
Yeah. So it would be ice element. The core.
Maybe is Rain feisty?
She can be.
She can be she can be a fire. Nah, she can be a slime.
Oh,
she's very slimes are
they're
very alternative. There's an episode where they show at what happens when you turn each element up to 100, and slimes at 100s were they were really into that 80s. I think it's 80s roller derby scene.
Okay.
Where everyone's there's oh, it's like Grease.
Oh yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That'd be Rain, basically. I dig that.
And she can manifest as a slime
cat.
Slime cat, yeah.
So goopy.
She's not visibly slimy, but she's slime cat. She can you can pull her apart like a donut or cotton candy. I couldn't think of a slimy food.
A donut or a cotton candy. Those
like those cheese bread things.
Like cheese sticks, mozzarella.
But
brie?
the cheese is inside a bread, and when you pull the bread open, it
cheesy bread. Yeah, cheesy bread.
Cheesy bread. Yeah.
Those commercials are just glue.
I've heard. Straight glue.
I still want to eat it.
Never looked so delicious.
I know, right? I feel like a high number of people would still eat it just because it looks good.
Glue's non-toxic. Elmer's glue
is non-toxic. Which is what they use.
Yeah.
Because it
kids
dries.
Eat that shit.
That's right. Oh, what's stopping me from going downstairs and eating a whole tub of Elmer's glue?
Well, you're an adult now, so now your stomach can't handle it.
Oh, damn it. I've evolved too much.
Truly.
I need to recess. I need to be like those jellyfish that can revert back to their baby form.
Wow. God, I wish that were me.
Immortal jellyfish.
That's our new superpower. We just do it on command. We'll just suddenly baby.
They do it whenever they get too old or too stressed.
Too old. Just nope, not old anymore. I've had enough.
Yeah, they just revert back to their original baby form.
The ocean is so strange.
The ocean is terrifying in the best way. I'm not actually afraid of it, but it is.
Theoretically, immortal lobsters. Theoretically, immortal jellyfish. We should be taking notes. What are we doing in space? Well,
actually, immortal jellyfish. Theoretically, immortal lobster. Yeah. They can just keep going forever.
That's amazing.
Although most of them still end up dying from other causes, but
eaten. Oh my god, this is forget worshiping the lobster god. Worship the jellyfish god.
You get gooey immortality.
Yeah.
All right, Wolf, take it away.
I'm Wolf, taking things away. Thank you for watching episode 99 of You're Ridiculous.
1 away from 100.
If you liked all that, be sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified of the next episode. If you're watching on a podcast website, be sure to hit the plus and give us 5 stars to support the show. You can follow us across the internet, the main cast at ridiculous_cast on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow Lucas at 7angry with an E, and you can follow me at Rainbow Does without the W. Links in the description. We hope to see you guys all again next week, but until then, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.